Are you gonna Wim Hof it, Brent?
Si, senor.
You're gonna get like proposals over the internet now. They're gonna be
In no time.
marry me, Brent. You big heady angel. This is awesome. I can't believe you're doing this.
I'm not much of a swimmer.
Oh, you're like a mermaid, you. Look at you. Dolphin, come on.
You'll just float.
Go under and kick up. Come out of the water.
Is it colder out there?
There you go. Atta boy. Woo!
Is it
You're like an
colder out
orca coming out of the water.
Or I can do a good mermaid.
I tell you, I'm like sea waddle. Look at you.
Yeah, he ran 26 miles, a marathon, in a freaking desert without drinking water. He had a cup of coffee for breakfast. I'm not on Wim level.
I'm not on
WIMHOF.
Hello, alright. You're listening to the Gritty Bowmen, home of gritty bow hunting films, interviews, tall tales, and a wee bit of manly boasting.
I'm South Cox, and you're listening to The Gritty Bowmen.
Alright, everybody. Welcome to the Gritty Bloody Podcast, showing behind the scenes the Muppets we work with. Okay, we'll cut that out. Don't worry, I'm just pissing around. Alright, what are we doing? What are we naming this?
The Gritty Lodge.
The Gritty Lodge. Welcome to the Gritty Lodge.
He's making fun of you, Jesse. That's fine, man. I'm good.
Took the piss out of you.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The push.
Where is the Gritty Lodge?
We're in Montana, and everybody wants to move here now.
Did you see any animals here?
Justin doesn't want to go home.
Nope.
I don't want to go home.
Did you find a shed?
Let's not bring up stuff.
There's one on the windowsill outside. You can.
Yeah, I know. This arse come back from his jog going, look what I found, man. I just went for a jog and found a shed.
It's easy.
Did you
It's
believe?
easy.
Did you believe him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Hook, line, and sinker, man. I had him.
got beat red.
I think I turned to Brent, and I'm like, he picked that up by the garage. You know, and Mark's like, no way. He's all indignant already. He's all pissed at me. He's not excited for me. I felt bad, man. You hurt my feeling.
You tosser. You did it on purpose. You knew exactly you were pulling.
Dude, I was coming
buttons.
down the road. I'm like, I'm going to pick up one of those sheds, and I'm going to
Poke the bear.
screw with
That's what
Mark.
Here we go.
You were the second one to get a shed.
I'll be all right once I get deflowered. And I've got my first shed. I'll be calm after that. I just want to find one.
He'll still be that kid. You found one and I didn't.
I know.
No bloody way. No way.
What are you gonna do with it when you find one?
I'm going to have it mounted.
He's going to get it bronze.
Get it mounted unicorn style.
Yeah. A unicorn style. Hopefully I'll find the pair then, eh?
You could mount it with his tail. The tail that
Yeah.
he shot off.
Yeah, the one that Brian shot off.
Yeah.
This was a unicorn deer that we got out in the woods.
Now we found his shed.
All right, I'm taking control of this podcast. All right, folks, welcome to the Gritty Bowman Podcast. We are in Tucson, Montana.
Tucson, Montana.
Right?
Yep.
We've been talking for a few days at the Backcountry Hunter and Anglers Rendezvous, annual Rendezvous.
Rendezvous.
And we're getting ready to head home, but we thought we'd do a little recap of the trip real quick. We're at Bryce's parents' house.
Yeah.
Yep. His mom is an exceptional person and has fed us and let us stay here. She's a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Mom.
They all thought they were going to get floor space, and most of them got a bed.
I know,
Dude,
Jesse got a couch.
It was great, man.
So,
dude, how many kids are in your family?
So
dude?
I'm one of 9. So I kind of knew there was going to be room because there's only just my niece that lives here with my mom and dad. So I kind of knew
The 9
that
kids
there
moved
would
out.
be room because we all come to visit, and there's lots of space.
Your beard's rubbing the mic.
It's fun.
Brian didn't tell me.
there.
When
That's
Brian
better.
told me, he's like, yeah, just bring like a sleeping mat and a sleeping bag, man. I'm like, okay.
I was planning on having Jesse sleep outside, but
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
You should have told
I
him
was
to leave.
down.
You should have told him to leave his bloody alarm outside.
Yeah.
seriously, Jesse sleeps like a rock.
That alarm was going off for like 15 minutes out there. I thought it was my daughter's iPod because
Yeah.
she plugs that in at home all the time, and it goes off like 14
Dude,
times
I'm in bed
a
and I'm
day.
hearing, I'm like, somebody's gonna die.
So,
I get up and I'm trying to follow the sound after 15 minutes because I was like, no, I'm just gonna lay here. But finally, I just couldn't take it anymore. I go out and exploring the house and
laying in the middle
dude,
of the
it's
room.
right next to Jesse's head, and he's like,
Yeah.
and it's so loud.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is wrong with it? So I turn it off. I don't have your passcode, so I couldn't turn it off.
You just
But I
hit snooze.
And then I like moved it real close to your head, and then went back to bed. And
should-
it still
you
took like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I was
You
like,
should have threw it right at his head.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
there
usually
you
what
go.
my
That
wife
should get him.
does. You know, rolls over and cusses at me and hits me.
that's right. Well, we're gonna go around the room. We got B Rent here. We got the Scottish.
Spaniard.
The Scottish Spaniard.
Get it up, yeah.
And we have Justin Clement. Who,
I'm joined by my essays from Mexico.
that's right.
We all snuck across the border.
Only,
he's the only legal one.
yeah.
I'm the only one with a green card, too.
I'm the only legal one in this podcast.
So we got Justin Clement, who's been helping us with the newsletter, and a friend of ours, and we got Bryce, like I said, and we got Jesse Wise with Train to Hunt.
Yep.
And Unashamed Outdoors. We had a good time.
The other thing, Katie is my wife.
Yep.
I try to stay hidden as much as possible.
Yeah, Bryce is my brother-in-law, and Katie is
Your sister.
Katie, my sister, is married to Bryce. So
No. Bryce is too pretty to, keep from behind the camera.
He'll steal the show.
I know it's
Brian's tried. He got me on one once before, but it never made it to
publicly.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
goodness.
This is the most I've heard him talk
So
this whole weekend.
It's
Yeah,
kind of.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just have to focus on these guys and think those cameras really aren't on because I don't like to get pictures.
Yeah.
That one zoomed right in on you, Bryce.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm gonna go hide. That's it. No more talking.
So we just got back from a epic Wim Hof session with Brent. We actually documented it, recorded it pretty
Extensively.
What do you think is the official? What's your official take on this, Jesse? After observing the Wim Hof,
I was like, I hate being cold, kind of like you, and I'm, if Brent can do it, I think I could do it. Although he does have a little bit more
That's what you
insulation.
big insulation, yeah.
a brown fat,
Do it, mate.
Maybe,
Maybe it's
white fat turning to brown fat.
yeah.
Sweatle?
But no, I think I'll do it. You
Yeah.
know? I think I'll do it and try it. And
They say cold showers. I
No.
find cold showers are
atrocious.
they're worse. They're
Shouldn't you
so
tell people
caustic.
what Wim Hof is first?
we've kind of talked about it before.
It's been
okay.
mentioned on
So
podcasts.
Brent's it's the Wim Hof method, and Brent is training to become the Iceman. So we're going to see how it works. You've been doing it almost 2 months now,
a little over 2 months.
a little over 2 months, and so far, are you is cold resistant now? I mean, how's it coming?
Yeah, I will say that I still get cold. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, I'm not walking around the house like in naked, like just being okay all the time. Like, I definitely do get a
Your
little
mom
cold.
would have an issue with that, wouldn't she?
My mom's pretty unashamed.
You did make it
Now,
15 minutes up there, and it's been getting into the 30s at night. So
Yeah.
the pond
Brian-
water up there is
Brian,
not
you're going to slip in some
warm.
footage, right?
yes,
Mine-
you
Can
got to
do-
throw that.
I'll tell you what.
When he
The
did- when he-
orca?
The orca, the dolphin
Yeah.
thing.
The
has to go.
Mersquatch?
Yeah, mermaid man.
The Mersquatch?
Our
Oh.
pond back home, it has like it's kind of muddy at the bottom. So no matter where I go, if I'm sitting or if I'm kneeling in the pond, my feet kind of get covered in
Yeah.
mud. That's not the case. This was like a sheer rock face, so my toes were exposed the whole time, and my toes are not conditioned for this. Like it
Like the rest of him is Wim Hof, but because he's been sticking them in the mud, they haven't officially
I got
transformed.
out. It was trying to walk back to the house, and I was like, it felt like someone had smashed my toes with a hammer. It hurt.
Or removed them.
I'm gonna have to do this because
You gotta go
my
total
hunt
Wim
partners
Hof
make
on that.
fun of me on a daily basis when we're back in the backcountry because I get cold
well,
and I freeze my butt off.
let me ask you this: like maybe you're not like walking around without a coat and you're shirtless all the time in like 30-degree weather. But what about when you do get in the pond? Does it feel different than it used to when you first started?
Definitely. The first time you get into the pond, or just cold water. Period. However cold you want to take it, it's violent. It's a violent experience. You're in there, you're shaking, and the whole time your body's telling you to get out because you're dying. And that's part of the reason I started doing the Wim Hof was to
Push
just
your
tell
mental,
myself no, learn some boundaries and stuff, and
discipline your body, like
mental,
But not your toes.
telling my body what to do. I want to get
Yeah.
into better shape at doing that because I
Yeah.
feel like that'll help me translate into exercise, hunting, every part of my life. And so that's probably the number one reason why I started the Wim Hof.
And do you feel like your self-discipline increasing and your ability to make yourself do things you don't want to?
Well, I will say if you wake up early, you go down to this stupid pond, you jump in for 15 minutes, you're not going to get up. You're going to go home. You're going to work out because you're not going to waste the day because you got up and you did something hard. And then you're not going to eat like crap the rest of the day because you got up and did something hard. You exercised. So for me, it really sets the tone. I really hate having something scheduled early in the morning because then it just throws everything off for me.
Yeah, makes sense. What about where are you hoping this will go?
Well, I want to get Wim's book and maybe do the actual he has an online course thing.
Yeah.
Because the one part of this I'm not super clear on is the breathing exercises. It sounds like there's
meditation, breathing.
Yeah, like he goes into some breathing exercises, and I do those, not as diligently as I do the water.
Yeah.
And I need to get into that a little bit more.
And when you do the breathing and the meditation, does it help?
Yes. I normally do the breathing before I hop in the pond. I didn't do it this time just because there was people there, and I wasn't going to have you record me suffocating myself by the stream.
It's a hyperventilation process.
You hyperventilate, and then you try to suffocate yourself, and
you hold your breath.
Yeah.
But these guys that do the Wim Hof, they can hold their breath for how long?
Like Wim can hold it for I think his record's 9 or 10 minutes or something like that. It's stupid long.
Yeah, you oxygenate your body, change the alkalinity, the pH levels, all that kind of stuff.
But I have noticed that now when I'm in the water and I'm breathing deep, I can feel part of my brain working that I haven't really noticed before.
Yeah. Well, it'll be cool to keep observing, seeing how it goes.
Yeah, I don't intend on having many spectators in the future. That was rough.
Yeah.
And after today watching you, if it doesn't work out, I'm positive you could get a gig at SeaWorld.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, big money in that SeaWorld.
I auditioned to be Flipper's evil twin, Zipper.
So they do have an opening because they no longer can have the killer wells.
Yeah, I think they're
So there's a big pool there waiting.
Yeah.
I'll go down there, jump out of the water for fish.
Yeah.
Did you see that when he goes underwater and he springs out like a
merman?
You got to show that was
The Mer
I'm
Squad.
pissing around. That was brilliant.
No, that hashtag gritty Wim Hof.
Yeah,
There you go.
there we go.
Yep. So
All
do
right.
it. Go do it.
So, we're just going to go around the room real quick and kind of get each guy's take for the weekend. Like, what was the kind of the highlight and just your general impression. And don't talk for 15 minutes. This is like a 5-minute deal. So, with that said, let's start with B. Rent.
Well, I think we all know who my favorite guest of the week was.
It was pretty obvious.
It was the guy with the beard, right?
Oh, dude, yeah, he was great. No, I really liked Heather Choice.
Yeah.
Heather was cool. She was smart. She was fit. She was really hot. And she can cook. I mean, like, there's nothing not to like. She was fun.
She was a total athlete. She knew a lot about diet, fitness, and health. Yeah.
She was some Rowan
She was
Alaskan
real.
badass, dude.
Oh, yeah. She was brilliant.
And provides a product that's needed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's expensive, though.
It
I
is.
mean, that's going to be that's
Good
that's
food's
hard.
expensive too. I mean, if
you
she
wanna
said
eat
you
healthy,
do it
You
yourself.
pay
too,
what you get
so.
for, flat
Yeah.
out. I mean, you can go get Mountain House, sure, but you're going to pay for it in the woods.
Yeah.
You're going to lose time hunting, dropping a bowel movement.
Or not
Yeah.
dropping
There's
one.
nothing
Or
dropping.
dropping it,
Drop
dropping
anything.
it, dropping it in your pants.
Maybe the lack of drop is the problem with Mountain House.
The point is you got to crowbar it out.
But see, that's
the point.
There's a good point there too, because a lot of guys are like, "Wow, I can afford that." Well, just buy a few of them and supplement.
No.
Yeah.
The way I'm now looking at it is the way Brian put it when we did the podcast with her. When you pointed out The difference is like the $49.
It's the incremental cost.
On top of what you would have paid for the shite that you were going to take out there anyways.
So
you need to look at that. That's why I'm spending the money.
Or how about the
taking Heather's
medical
choice.
bills from Mountain House? That
But-
stuff's going to give you cancer.
But if you
Oh,
look
yeah.
up, if you
More
do,
likely.
if you do consider the cost of Mountain House, and it's what, like $8 a bag or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And hers is like, let's say 15.
12.
Yeah, 15. It's 15 now.
So it's and you got 7 days of food. It's like $56 for Mountain House.
She did the math for us.
Yeah.
on the
And
podcast.
45 of that is sodium.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
I mean-
And then another $50. It's incremental, right? It's like twice as much. So it's for another 50. You're gonna spend that 50 anyway.
Yeah.
So for that extra 50, you get this.
Right.
If
And
you're
then
going
the stool softener you got to figure in. I got to
Metamucil
take
cookies.
stuff when I eat the Mountain House. Got to take a handful of stool softener.
Not only
every
that,
day.
we haven't tried it yet. But I'll be wicked honest. If it tastes like crap, I'll let y'all know. And Heather, you're going
Yep.
down. No.
But if you compare the protein to protein, like the biggest protein you can get out of Mountain House is like the chicken breast one, which is like
Yeah, and then
20
it's all
20
rice
grams.
and corn.
Yeah.
And she said hers has 40 grams.
Yeah.
That's you just can't
Right.
find that much protein.
Getting protein
So-
out in the woods is
Well, and good, tasty protein.
and
like,
that one from Mountain
hopefully
House
it's
is
really
actually
good.
more.
Some of that stuff
So-
though favors the spicy, the spicy
Yeah.
lovers.
It
Which,
sounds like she's
yeah,
got
I'm
some
stoked about
different
that. I know
seasonings,
you're not.
so-
Brian-
I know,
Brian, we
Brian's
need to do-
averse to black pepper, let alone red peppers.
We need to
Dude,
do
I'm
it
tougher
live.
than that.
We need to do her stuff live.
Little
Heather's
taste-
Choice live.
taste test.
We'll
Taste
cook it up,
test.
me and you, and we'll film it, and we'll take it then, and we'll get the reactions.
I
right
don't know
away.
if you can handle it, man.
I'll even eat the spicy stuff. I'm
Oh.
telling you.
Ooh.
No,
that should be
because
fun to get on film.
When she read,
Definitely.
when she read the
I'll see a
ingredients-
Scotsman cry.
Wait until I kill a bull.
He was crying after that sandwich the other day.
That was spicy though.
Now I'm hungry.
They have like
okay.
a pepper.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Mark's favorite person. Or guest or favorite part.
My favorite person was the fella, the older
Newberg.
Newberg.
Randy Newberg.
No, Randy Newberg was a total stud. That guy, I just was enthralled with him. And what he's doing for hunting and what he's doing for me and for my son Angus, the future of hunting.
Yeah.
That, I couldn't say enough about that guy. That guy was brilliant.
Jeff
I just-
Fazito.
Randy's cool.
With
Jeff
Sitka.
and Jeff was the guy was Sitkin at 2%.
It's just neat to get
That was great.
all the stuff about conservation,
Yep.
hear it all. It's just a lot of fun to be around all these like-minded people who really care about the environment and the future of hunting.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I learned
Randy's
a lot.
great ambassador for the sport. I mean,
Yeah.
he just is.
Well, and there's a lot of people who have heard us talk about Randy Newberg and maybe seen some Facebook posts that I've shared of Randy's. But it's like anything, I've heard of guys on other people's podcasts that I enjoyed listening to and never checked them out. Just like, yeah, eventually I'll look into them. And I'm thinking there's probably a lot of guys that listen to the Gritty Bowmen podcast that just have never really checked Randy out. So I'm hoping that as they get exposed to him and they meet him themselves, they're gonna be like, okay, well, I'm going to check Randy out. The thing about Randy is that he's really in the political scene and where we really need to be fighting the fight for conservation.
he's there.
A lot.
Yeah.
We need people there. Randy's there at the forefront, and it's just neat to have somebody like that on our side, getting out there, seeing the big picture,
And
really.
he goes to the doorsteps of government buildings, and
He's
actually
interviewing
there.
the governor candidates in Montana,
Yep.
and just kind of letting them all have a chance to talk about where they stand on public land and other issues. And so it's just he's on the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation board, and just a neat guy too. Just a fun, down to earth,
Down to
funny
earth.
guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't pull back. He just is honest. It's unfiltered.
He's not
his
a prima
show.
donna.
Like his show.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And BHA, too. That's what everybody else needs to pay attention to. That's the biggest thing I've learned from coming to this thing is how important we need to remember how important the public lands are. It's going to get taken away from us, and poor little immigrant bastards like me are going to have no place to go hunt with their children.
Well, and all of us, people who were kind of
You wealthy Americans.
The stuff that the people
Yeah,
who
my-
are here without a green card.
Yeah, the wealthy American sitting there
Yeah.
with 5 kids and one job.
So I'm
Yeah.
having my fifth
That's
one.
me
today.
too.
Yeah, yeah. We know we're really wealthy.
Yeah.
Well, we.
All right, Jesse, who was your
Hey,
favorite?
minus the
Jesse,
wealth.
Jesse,
Minus
you got a
the wealth.
real man thing. Pull that thing a little away from your mouth.
I got a man thing.
Yeah, you're like your
Yeah.
voice is like killing me. My
Sorry,
ears
bro.
are blowing out.
Is
Okay,
that better?
yeah,
All right.
so Jesse, let's hear it.
So, I would say, just coming this weekend, I didn't really know what to expect, right? We're all like, what is the Rendezvous, And basically, it's like a convention for BHA. where everybody just comes together, like a bunch of hunters come together to share stories and to share the accomplishments of the previous years, battles that have been fought and won for public lands. And the thing that really stuck out to me, I think the most, just one is meeting people. I love meeting new people and like-minded people and even non-like-minded people because there's plenty of those in Missoula. I found out, at the Brewfest.
You mean at Woodstock?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, man. It was
It's like a miniature Portland there.
Yeah, it was.
I there was a lot of marijuana in the air.
I know.
Oh, baby.
Any of you guys
The
have to
porta
take
potties.
drug tests?
We were right
for work?
next to the porta
Because you might not
potties.
pass.
People kept going. It was like
Yeah.
just like people weren't in line to go to the bathroom. They were in line to go there to smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I said, it's just great meeting people like, Brent was saying, like Heather from Heather's Choice, and which Trained to Hunt is kind of partnering up with Heather's Choice Meals because you need that nutrition when you're in the backcountry. I mean, there's no excuse to train this hard and to do good, clean meals every day and then put shite.
There you go.
Oh,
Hey, it's
well
better
done.
if you say it like a Scottish.
Well done.
If you put that stuff in your body, it's there's no excuse for it. So it's it's Heather's Choice plug. But the thing that got me last night was when Ranella was speaking at the dinner. And he's big. He's like the poster boy now for BHA, and which is great because the guy is so well spoken, man. I mean, he was great. But the thing is, his like call to everybody to educate yourself, and that's for me. It was like I would just rather pay somebody some money, like we just pay our dues to Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and all these great organizations, but we don't really educate ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's where the podcast scene, like with Randy Newberg, and I think that's what you were talking about with Randy. He's more political, and he has more political guests on, and that doesn't really resonate with rednecks like myself. And that's not an excuse, right? There's no excuse to not know, because if you don't know, you're just going to let the other side take it.
Yeah, and he's talking about knowing about history, about how public lands became public, how the U.S. became what it is today, what the conservation model is, who was involved in it, what they had to do to get there. Right. He's talking about ecology and biology and understanding the animals we hunt and what they need. And he's like, get
and their
educated.
Achilles heel, like how they're going to thrive and how they're going to be destroyed.
Right.
And I don't know most of that stuff, but I want to know, and I need to make myself. It's hard work. It's like training. It's not easy, and it's not ever going to be easy. But nobody that ever just sits on the couch gets anything done.
But you can try to make it fun. Like I think that's what we try to do at Gritty Bowmen is educate, but also make it
entertain,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same,
because Ranella did it last night. We were learning. We were like totally entertained.
Yeah, but that you're not going to learn anything from that. Like you have to do the work.
Yeah.
After you get the shot in the arm, it wakes you up. You take the blue pill or the red pill, and Ranella is like the blue pill or whichever one you want to see the true story. Yeah. And like he was saying last night, it's like all the political spectrums and the news channels and everything, it's all negative. And so it's like, oh yeah, my life sucks and our world sucks and America sucks, know?
Like, that was great when he was like,
and it's like, no.
America sucks. Everything sucks. It was good, but now it's not. It sucks. Everything sucks.
It doesn't suck, man.
No,
I mean, look at this. We get to walk,
Price's land up here.
Yeah.
Elk and deer everywhere.
I like
get
how
in
he
the
phrased
pond.
it.
150 elk this morning.
We
on the
are
way
all
in.
kings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We own land like a king.
Yep.
That struck with me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it was brilliant last night, and I just really encouraged me to really dig deep into my area, like even it was Land, I think, that was saying, where is your backcountry, and I have this spot, like when he said, just picture your spot, I have that spot,
right,
and there's been Native American tribes that have gone through there, and there's history there that I've studied a little bit of, but now I want to completely study it.
Take that information, that little bit, and find out the history and how it's evolved.
What did you think about what he was saying? When you go down and you vote, right? and you go down, and everybody knows. We all admit it, right? We've all been there. We go down. We really haven't done a lot of research before we get there.
Yeah.
We get it, and we're like reading, like, okay, the first time you've ever really considered what you're voting for, and you're kind of going through it, and then you check the boxes, and then, you vote for, like, president, right? But then after that, you're just kind of...
Whose name sounds better?
He's like, it kind of comes down to
now.
Do it like a boilerplate thing, and you're looking at that, and he's like, if 90% of us are non-hunters, they're making the decision.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much we 10% vote unanimously for a single thing. It's the 90% of us that aren't hunters in the United States that are making the choice.
Yeah.
So they better value us,
Mm-hmm.
and that means we need to be cognizant of how they feel about what we're doing, and be intentional about how we talk about it and how we share it and how we phrase it and how we. And there's a lot of hunters that are like, why should I make an excuse, or why should I apologize for what I do or who I am? And I understand that feeling, but at the same time, I really feel like, that can be confrontational.
Yeah.
It can be. It doesn't bridge gaps.
Yeah.
Instead, it
you don't win the battle.
Creates divides.
You don't win that battle in one fell swoop, right? You gotta give and take. You gotta compromise.
You gotta build,
and
build
again,
on your common
it's education, dude.
Yeah.
Like when people understand and they get more information, they make a better qualified decision.
Yeah.
When we as hunters aren't educated, we can't educate others.
Yeah.
And I think, look at us, if en masse, that 10% became extremely knowledgeable about where conservation dollars come from. The Pittman-Robertson Act.
Yeah.
If they understood, fully what BHA and the Theodore Roosevelt Foundation, what Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and Ducks Unlimited, Pheasants Forever, all these organizations are a part of, and how they work en masse. If hunters learned all that, man, look at the education we would be able to share with the public.
It's kind of the same analogy that Stephen made with the subway system in New York.
Yeah.
None of us know anything about the subway system in New York.
Yeah.
And none of those people that live in these urban communities like that, where the majority of the population live, know nothing about what we do.
And Mark is a great example. Like, for a long time, Mark had an image of what hunting was like, right?
Yeah, you whacked the head off and stuck it on the wall.
And didn't really see any redeeming value in hunting. And I think there are many, many, many non-hunters that don't understand it, because we as hunters haven't done a good job of, because we don't know it ourselves.
Yeah.
I asked people, like, I heard this argument on Facebook the other day where somebody was saying, well, hunters, they give a lot, right? They give a lot to us, and hunters donate to the public, or to conservation. All this money, they're the biggest donor to conservation. And there was an anti-hunter person that was like, yeah, but hunters don't know that they're doing that, so it doesn't count. Well, the truth is, money's money, right? But the truth is, a lot of them don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know that, almost all the dollars that go into wildlife management and care and habitat, and
tags, licenses,
all the money from that comes from a tax on hunters.
Yep.
I feel like most of them do know. If you ever picked up a hunting rag,
Oh, I don't think
They're
they knew.
plastered all over
No.
Yeah.
When was the last time you read a hunting rag?
just the other day.
Okay.
And
you're a select few then.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And I think too that it's new, Brent. Like that, we weren't as a group doing a really good job of explaining that, until recent years, I think, and really woke up. And we're really working harder as I think a community to say there's a difference between conservation and environmentalism.
Yeah.
And hunters are conservationists, and
and I think also, it's not necessarily that they're uneducated. It's just that they're blatant about I'm not gonna ever apologize for being a hunter, and so that's all well and good. But then you slap a stupid sticker on your truck saying "It flies, it dies," or if it's brown, it's down. It's just like
Smoke a
come
pack
on,
a
let's
day,
have a little bit of pride.
You're
That sounds
throwing
a little racist.
You're throwing fuel on Auntie's fire.
Exactly.
And You're just helping them out doing that.
And you're not going to do what they were encouraging us to do last night. It's just, hey, in your sphere of influence, educate people.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love to piss off an anti-hunter. I mean, it's like you just are like, because some of the arguments are so dumb, and it's such an easy thing to just. And honestly, I don't think with a lot of those people you're going to change their mind. But we're not talking about that group.
If you argue with them, you don't.
We're talking about, though, and even the ones when you bring
80%.
perfect sense. Yeah,
Because there's 10% hunters,
yeah,
10% antis, and then the 80%.
And then the middle. And the middle is
that haven't
extremely
decided.
rational, extremely reasonable. They admit that they like leather shoes and leather seats and that they eat,
Most people don't think about
Bacon.
hunting, to be honest. If you're a concrete baby, hunting doesn't affect you at all.
Well, and if you say something like, you're hunting for food, it's like, yes, check the box. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
You say trophy hunting, and all of a sudden, evil. And so we just need to be, as hunters, which resonated this weekend. Renilla's talk really hammered that home. Just be intentional about what you're saying,
Yeah.
and get educated and do your best to ensure the future of this for our kids and going forward. And you're right, Brent, like concrete babies or city kids or those who just have never been outside or really away from the city, it's a completely foreign thing. It really is.
And most of them are down. They really are.
Yeah.
And Land brought this up every time I've seen Land, he's brought this up. But he said the number one reason why most people fall away from hunting or don't start hunting is they don't know where to go. Where do I go to hunt?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did I get here?
I know tons of
How
people
did I get here?
who I mentioned that I like hunting and I enjoy it, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Have you ever tried it?" And then they're like,
Where do you start?
That's the major stopping point for them is where do I go? Do I just walk out in the woods?
Right.
Because
And the answer is yeah. You kind of do.
You kinda
right?
do.
Yep.
Yeah. Right, but it's very intimidating. Like that thing
It is.
I told you about. I saw that video that Ranella did at the NDA. It's a deer thing, and he was talking about how intimidating it is. Just from that aspect of going out into the woods for a new person, and you're going out there, and there's a bunch of people out there with guns, for one thing.
Yeah.
And then there's the regulations. You pick up them bloody regulations. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got to go to college
Dude,
to get through it.
I remember
For real,
when
dude.
I was 19 and I was going to be a missionary in Japan, and I got on an airplane, flew to Japan, and I'm like, I've never really been in a big city. I'm from Oregon City in the sticks, I grew up in some rural property.
what are you talking about, dude? OC's bumping.
Dude, we get there in Japan, I'm like, holy moly. And you're trying to get on buses and subways and read signs I can't read. They're all in a different language. And I'm like struggling, and it was this extremely like trying and challenging and intimidating experience. And, I look at that from, the city person's point of view. That's big
a similar
deal.
thing.
Big
Yep.
deal. You just navigate that stuff.
Right,
It's
but
just
for
part
them
of-
to go out in the woods, it'd be the same experience
Yeah.
for you.
Insane.
from
You
that
had,
aspect,
you had to
yeah.
get in there and just do it.
I like
You
what
would've
Rogan
been
says.
stuck there.
Cities make people weird, dude. When they start trucking the food in, they start trucking the food in and putting it on shelves. People lose touch, and it's true. So becoming educated, I think, is real. Is so important. You nailed it, Jesse.
All right, Bryce, who was your favorite?
Well, I've been trying to get Brian up here to Montana for years. Like my parents have been here for 20 years. Katie and I come up here a couple times a year, and we've told.
When he says 20 years, it sounds like a long time.
We've told, we've been married for 17 now, going to be 18 this year, and most of that we're like, you got to come with us. There's the rafts. So I got to thank the BHA Rendezvous
For finally
getting him up here. He was able to see, that the things we were telling him, that there's animals, the deer, the elk, that they are really here, and we weren't just
Yeah.
making them up. And that you see them on a daily basis, and they're on the hillside.
This morning of like,
Saw like
80
elk maybe right in their yard,
a whole, just down the road, we were heading into
and they were
town.
looking at us like we were the a-holes driving on the road.
Dude, like 15 feet from the
So-
window in the kitchen this morning, I'm filling up my water bottle, and I look out the window, and there's two does standing
Two
there.
deer out in the garden.
I can see
this
I
morning.
can see the pupils in their eyeballs.
I know why we didn't find any shed antlers though, because all the bulls still had their antlers.
Yeah.
Those were all the little guys.
Yeah,
The spikes, and I
Yep.
think what was the biggest one? The
little rag 5 or something
Yeah.
like
three
that.
or four.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great to
shoot him.
finally get him up here. We even tried to bribe him with the ice cream, the Big Dipper
The
in
Big
town.
Dipper, yeah.
But I think the one thing that I really liked meeting Kenton and Ryan, First Light,
Oh, they were
and getting
hilarious.
us some more information.
I knew
think that-
Ryan was funny.
That one stuck.
Keep going.
I knew Ryan
But I
was
think
funny.
that,
but Kenton is hilarious
No,
too.
the two of them together are hilarious.
Oh,
They're
man.
even more funny. But hearing a lot of the behind the scenes and why Kenton went with it, and the clothing that
Why
he
he
likes
supports
to
the backcountry.
to chose, and how they, their company and their model and how it works, and what they do, and that they're real people. That was cool.
Yeah.
And then hearing the stories of these old guys, 70, 72 years old.
Talk about Greg.
Shooting trad
Greg.
bows.
Munza.
Oh.
Munzer.
This guy,
Munther.
72.
Munther.
He
Munster,
Right.
he was my favorite.
he goes in, he hunts by himself, him and his 3 llamas, hearing about the llamas and how beneficial they are, that
there
they
was
can
like
go
4
without water.
llamas in the front of the
And they
hotel.
can, that they can, what they can
All day
eat,
Saturday.
Yeah.
they can eat a lot more things than, even
Hay.
the
Yeah.
mule, the grass. They can eat the leaves and the trees, and so hearing that and that sparked a new interest, a new subject to study up on. But just a lot of these old guys have stories on top of stories on top of stories, and it makes you feel kind of like
A youngster.
a youngster, and you really haven't experienced life yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was really cool. And, again, it's great to finally
Yeah.
get him up here and, seeing the BHA and the growth, just knowing that they said last year their Brewfest in Spokane had 300 people. This year down in Missoula, they had 3,000.
3,400, I think, is what they said.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
Even at the dinner, I think they said
that's
They had to turn 100 people away.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
tremendous
For the dinner.
growth.
Well, they planned for 500 and something, and they had 9.
But I think last year was 135 or something, or some.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
this year, yeah,
Blew up.
Holiday ain't gonna work next time.
No.
That's because the Gray Bowmen were there, wasn't it?
Dude, no one cared who we.
Yeah, deservedly
The
so.
gritty who.
Although, wait, no, I did. There was one kid last night that wrapped Brian in with Ryan Callahan and Steve Ranella.
Talking about Zach?
And
Zach,
yeah,
yep.
Shout out Zach.
Zach. Yeah, so he was like, oh, he wrapped, and
Oh yeah,
man.
dude, he was just being nonchalant. Yeah, this is the first decent deer I've ever really shot. What was it? It was like a 180 or something, mule
It was
deer.
Pretty close
like,
to it,
deer.
yeah.
It's pretty deer.
rubbing it in. You live in Montana, sir. That's
Yeah.
not. You can't.
Yeah, it's not the
Come
same
and shoot a
thing.
blacktail, bro.
Montana, Idaho
For real.
No.
areas. So,
Yeah,
That's
Greg
cool,
Munther
Bryce.
was cool.
Yeah.
that was cool. I think this is going to be an option for Brian to possibly move here. So maybe we'll have another house to visit when we come
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Like Montana's cool. I've never been here before, actually, and been to pretty much most of the other western states, but I've never been to Montana.
Ditto.
And beautiful place.
Mm-hmm.
The town is cool. It's got a nice feel to it. A lot of hippies. It was a little bit like Oregon, but like
On a smaller
But
scale.
on a
like
They're a little more,
mountain
Oregon.
outdoor
they're
scale.
a little more
Yeah, it was
toned down.
Like
too.
they like to eat meat, like hunt and eat meat here,
Mm-hmm.
whereas in Oregon,
Let's grow and not eat meat.
it's a little different. But I thought
Want a Boca burger?
I thought I really it's a different feel. Like if you go to ATA or you go to the Hunt Expo or the Sportsman Show or something,
There was a large sense of camaraderie all around at
right?
this
Like
place.
like at these other shows, you get a real, and I love those shows. They were a blast,
Yep.
but just totally like very different, more commercial, more party kind of. BHA had a party feel, but it was also like everyone was so like-minded and so concerned about the environment and about animals and conservation and
Yeah.
public land that there's a strong unity here.
To me, it seemed more like a big family.
It
than
did.
anything.
It
Yeah.
feels
like
like
the
a big
brands,
family.
brands kind of disappeared.
Brands were like non-existent.
Yeah, they weren't
Who
even
cares?
there.
There's like no boundaries at all. It just
first like
everybody's like
Sitka and
yeah.
they were-
first like
they were-
they're right
they
next
were-
to each other.
yeah, they
And,
were-
and you're sitting here and you're going, okay, it just transcends all those brands because we're all in this together fighting for something that's way more important
Yep.
than
Yep.
than our companies.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
yeah.
So who was your favorite one, Bri? Or what was your favorite part?
You know,
Or was it just the camaraderie?
I'm reluctant
in
to
general?
say like anybody because they were all such awesome guests. Everyone we talked to, Greg Munther was absolutely inspiring. You talk to Heather; she's so smart. She's pushing the boundaries and really, with these slim profit margins, still pushing forward with a product that I really happy about. And then you get to meet. I'd say one of the funnest things that I experienced this weekend was just hanging out with the First Light guys.
Yep.
Ryan and Kenton.
So
I've hung out with Ryan a bunch of times, and I've hung out with Kenton a few times. But them together, you can just feel their friendship. And also, they were relaxed because we'd already gotten to know each other. And whenever you're doing a podcast and you're talking to somebody for the first time, there's some first time excitement and stuff. But to me, real communication, real podcast magic happens after you get to know a person fairly well. And then the real stuff just comes out, and you connect on a different level. And I felt like it was just fun to hang out with them before, after, during the podcast, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I like what they're doing and what First Light's doing, and I'm excited that to be part of what they're doing. I liked Clay Hayes was pretty impressive. He's showing us his self bows and how they're being made. And South Cox had his recurve there, and we talked to the addictive archery guys. And their arrows down in Oregon.
Out of my hometown, Salem.
Yeah, I want to hang out with those guys some more.
Is it Clay? Is he's the one that whacked the squirrel or
the grouse?
The
grouse out of the tree
He had
with
a
his
rock.
bow.
No,
Yeah.
he had a. Oh yeah, that's
No,
right.
he
whacked
used
it.
it
As soon as he grabbed his bow, bam.
Yeah, when he told that story, he said it in a way, and so then I whacked it with my bow, and I was like, "Oh, from how far?" And he's like, "No, I reached out with my bow and I smacked it."
The Swiss Army knife hunt.
And
and
his film is a great film, especially
one
to show with
coming out.
to non-hunters, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it really it's like, oh, I get it now, So really excited. I like the trad scene. I like what those guys are doing and how that's going. I love my compound, and I still will keep doing that. But I like that it's inclusive. It's archery's archery, man.
Yeah.
We should there shouldn't be those divisions between ourselves. And
Yeah.
Clay was really cool.
Well, that was a big eye opener. The amount of all the older guys there that have been purely traditional
You can't help
forever, and they, like the guy 3 months ago. Yeah, that was the last.
Yeah,
time.
Clay, when's the last time
It's
you shot a big game animal
And they're
with your
like
stick bow?
consistently all the time. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not eating tag soup.
Nope.
Yeah. So there are guys that getting it done consistently all the time with their traditional gear, and that's neat to talk to them. But overall, it was just a great experience to meet new people and to showcase what this event's all about. So, and hanging out with you jokers is always good too. So
It was all right.
yeah, kumbaya. Okay, Justin.
I was really
Now that
sure
you're the
what-
last one, and we've
Yeah.
kind of taken all the good ones.
I know, right? Now I got to repeat everything you guys said.
Scrape the barrel. Go for it.
I was really not sure what to expect. Much like you, Jesse, I was like, what is this rendezvous going to be?
This is the first time you've come to any kind of a show
This
with
is
us.
my first, anything with the Gritty Bowmen, like actually helping out. Besides,
Does everyone know what Justin does?
I write the newsletter and help answer emails right now, and hopefully more pretty soon. But that's kind of what it's starting out. So I'm having fun with it. But this weekend was really motivational for me. Like I met a ton of cool people. Greg Munther, like you guys said, was probably my favorite guest. I got to listen in on quite a bit of the podcasts. I missed out on Randy Newberg and Heather's Choice, so I'm looking forward to listening to those later on. But Greg and the First Light guys. And
That's because the music was too loud.
That's true.
You had to have the headphones.
that rock band was playing pretty loud, and but it was an awesome first experience. I met a lot of cool guys. All the guys from BHA that I look up to. I watched Ty on the Born and Raised series for a long time. Lantani was cool, just an awesome guy to talk to. Just a ton of cool people, and it really makes me want to get involved, and I want to reach out to someone in my area to try to figure out what else we can do.
It's tough because you get the bug and you're like, I want to tell everyone about it.
Yeah, and it's just cool to be part of something bigger.
Yeah, and then you go out and tell them, and they're like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Some are like Mark, and then they're addicted for life.
What was that?
That's his addict
That
scream.
was a Scottish Scottish goat.
Yeah, the Scottish goat.
Because we shagged the.
Yeah, you'd like to. You'd like to.
Get in line.
That was fun.
Yeah, man. I just after this weekend, I'm just completely inspired and motivated to just do more. And like I said, it's just awesome to be part of something bigger and try to spread the word. And I think if we can preach BHA a lot more on podcasts and social media, it's going to get a lot more young people involved with it. Because I think I don't remember who said it, but you look around at the Rendezvous and probably 80% of the people there are over 50 years old.
Yeah, there was not a lot of young.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of wisdom in every room.
Well, when you look at their
Wasn't there?
their board of directors, they're probably 50. There's a lot larger number
It's
in
interesting.
the 50 to 80
It's
group.
also interesting how at this event, I just saw a lot of guys in that age and gals in that age group, whereas at ATA I see a lot of 20s, 30s.
Yeah.
And so. It's like some people have had some seasons under their belts, and even Greg talked about it, and he's
coming.
like, but they also said, when you're young, it's a take kind of thing.
Steve talked about that.
Yeah, from the wilderness and all that the U.S. and our conservation model has to offer, and then you get a little older, and it's like. You feel like you need to give it back. You have your own kids, and it's like, I need to look out for their future, and you start giving back a little more. But there was undeniable that there was, an older age class of people here that are working hard, and a lack of younger people.
And it might just be that they're at that age where they have the time to give back.
That's true. You have kids and career,
the
and
younger group is
time
still
and money is
working
the huge,
and,
the biggest
so
part of it.
That could be it, but
Yep.
it's cool to see it's growing like that.
But in the end, I mean, in the end, I would say there's no excuse, to
you got to do
for
something.
improper, not taking care of the
not to
land.
give back.
You got to
I
give
know.
back. You gotta train people well, and that's. I mean, I've got 5 kids, man. And,
I mean, if you don't do it now,
yeah,
you wait till you're 55, 60,
Yep.
the number
late.
amount it won't be there.
it is, and my kids will, you let your kids watch television and crap, and I know I'm like stepping on a lot of toes and stuff, but I don't really care. I'm kind of like Randy Newberg that way. TV is the Antichrist to me, man.
Amen.
It's going to rot your brain. Video games. I literally took the Wii, man, and I threw it against the wall. I was tired of it.
Yeah.
I was tired of watching my kids turn into zombies.
Yeah.
And
we don't have it either.
no, I
It's
broke
sad.
it.
It's like,
It's
Well,
sad to-
the one thing I learned at this BHA thing is if the hunters don't get together and do something, our kids are not going to have public lands to go bloody hunt on.
So Jana Waller said, you're going to have to help me out with this, but she was talking about the difference between having the father hunt and the mother hunt. That if the father hunts, it's like a 50-50 if the kids will end up growing up as hunters. If the mom hunts,
It's 100%.
yeah, it's like almost 100%.
Yeah, the kids are gonna.
The kids,
do it.
it's almost a guaranteed the kids are going to hunt. Which wants I there's one other guest that I want to mention, and that's Rachel from Kimber.
Oh, she was awesome.
She
The
was
Kimber
a killer,
woman,
dude.
With the
yeah.
Well,
That
they
woman-
had a woman's panel, and it was
Yeah.
pretty much like and it was just Heather from Heather's Choice was on there, and I can't remember what else she said, but it was basically how do we get more women out here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, she was awesome. The woman from Kimber. Oh, that woman, I tell you. Yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well,
li-
wealth of knowledge and just excited and just got me just pumped.
Yeah.
About doing something and going out there.
Yeah, I really like this. First Light talked about that a little bit too, like women's clothing, and they're working hard
Yeah.
to like come up with stuff, and they have a women's panel as well from all over that's giving them feedback on their gear as they develop this clothing.
Right, yeah, and Kenton was talking about the pink and how women need to be treated as equals in the hunting.
They want to
thing.
get away from the
Yeah.
shrink it and peek
Yeah.
it deal.
Right, it was brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot. I'm hearing that a lot more, and it's neat to see. You know, that's I kind of equate that with hunting for the right reasons. You know, and you know, and we should all look at why we do it, right? And,
right.
And there's I've always thought, you know, the wrongness is in the motives, right, of why you do things. Yeah. Sometimes, you know, on the outside, what you're doing is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
But the why you do it, the motive behind it, it's important.
You got to know it. You got to know why you're doing it.
Yeah, and you might need to question it too.
Yeah.
If your motives aren't the right ones, then it's going to bleed over in a negative way somehow or another.
Yeah, and I mean, it goes along with just being a human being. If you think you're right all the time, you're an ass.
That's what I have a problem with my brother.
Sorry, Katie.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, you're not willing to learn.
Yeah, you're not.
And as soon as you're not
I
willing
spaced
to
out
learn,
for like 10 seconds, and I heard a-hole
Yeah.
and my brother. You know?
you know, as soon as you're not willing to learn anymore, your progress is stopped.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of it, right? I was the stupid, you know, redneck guy that didn't want to know. I was like, screw you, anti-hunters, and I'm just going to do what I love to do, and I didn't know jack squat about anything I was doing. Right? Really? I mean, really, I was just like, I was selfish. I was like what Steve was talking about last night. Just I was taking, and I didn't care about the political side of it. I didn't care about all that stuff. And it's like, and then I have kids, and I'm like thinking, man, that what are they going to have?
Yeah.
You know, like Mark said, how, you know, I want them to have land to go hunt on and stuff, and how am I raising them to think about another person?
Yeah.
Right? Thinking them as a human being and treating them with respect, no matter how they treat me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, you got to know why you're doing it, and you got to explain that to your children, and explain that to the people that are around you, and explain that to the antis, and explain that to the vegans.
And I
all
think
that.
you can do a lot of that with the right pictures and the right video and the right, you know, as you go to share your life, put it out there publicly, share it in a way that uplifts and changes people.
Yeah.
I want to thank all you guys, you know.
But one other quick thing, BHA is not just for hunters either, though.
Yeah.
And fishermen, it's for the campers, it's for the hikers,
Yeah.
the photographers
Kayakers.
of the nature, the bird watchers,
climbers.
It benefits everybody, those public lands. It's not just for us, you know,
it benefits every American citizen.
Those parks, if it goes away, that goes away with it.
Yeah.
So it benefits
And it's gone for
the kayakers,
everybody. And they're
the rafters, everything.
If you like to experience the outdoors and nature and what's God's created for you, you've got to help.
Yep.
I want to say thanks to you guys, you know, coming along and helping me out and sporting my gritty Bowman hats and doing all that. And there's a lot of cool people that came up and support us and bought T-shirts and hats. And
there were some people that showed up already wearing shirts.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool.
It was cool.
Shout out to Mark Livesay.
Yeah, man.
Moved to Montana.
Dude, I had like a 4-hour discussion with him and his wife, man.
At least they were both cool.
Good,
and he
good
has,
people right there.
He should start his own podcast. He's got the voice for it.
Yeah.
He's got a perfect voice for a podcast.
Kind of gritty.
Yeah.
Get after it, Mark.
Totally.
Definitely.
Yeah, he was great, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So, thank you, boys, and let's get home, man.
Yeah,
for real. Stay gritty.
Stay gritty.
Stay gritty.
Cheers, mates.
Road. On the gritty road.
Waddle, look at you. What's your charge admission? Murder squatch.
The murder squatch. There's some hairy wings on that back, dude.
Squatch.
So Mark's going to do the next gritty tip.
Okay, gritty friends, I hope you enjoyed that podcast. If you did, please take a moment to leave us a review on iTunes, Podbean, or Stitcher. We love reading your reviews. And connect with us on social media if you're on there. Look us up on Facebook and Instagram, and take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can receive notifications when we upload new videos. We've got a sweet deal with Mountain Ops. You get 20% off on all Mountain Ops supplements, combo packs, and apparel when you type in the word gritty at checkout. If you're a hardcore elk hunter, or you want to be, go to the Elk 101 website online and check them out. Our friend Corey Jacobson is killing it with some of the best elk hunting information and entertainment on the web. If you haven't heard, we're doing a huge gear giveaway to try and grow and expand the Gritty community on Facebook and Instagram. I asked a bunch of friends to pitch in on this gear giveaway, and they all came through with some awesome stuff. Our friends at Kifaru, Rockslide, First Light, Phelps Game Calls, One Shot Gear, Mountain Ops, Triple X Archery, Blacktail Outdoors, and Is It September Yet are pitching in some sweet gear for the giveaway. We'll announce all the details in the next few weeks. All you have to do to be entered to win is like our Gritty Bowmen Facebook page and follow us on Instagram. All right, friends, let me leave you with one other quote from Theodore Roosevelt, who said, "It behooves every man to remember that the work of the critic is of altogether secondary importance, and that, in the end, progress is accomplished by the man who does things." We all have a choice. We can be people who do things or people who criticize the work of others. It's pretty simple, really. Get out there and do your thing. Good luck on your hunts, and stay gritty.
This is Ty Stubblefield, and you're listening to the Gritty Bowmen.
Gritty Bowmen.